B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach. So, tonight's lecture is about dating. The big word, the date. Everyone wants to know what to do, how to do the date. Am I doing something wrong? Am I doing things right? When do I know it's going right? When do I know it's going wrong? What are the signals? So, we're going to talk everything to do with dating. And I am proud to say, a lot of the things I'm going to say tonight come from experience, from yours truly. Yes, I also dated just like anybody else. It's not a big deal. It's not as big as a deal as everybody makes it. But most of the things that I'm going to speak about are not my own. These are the things that I learned from my mentors, my rabbis, my trainers in life. And I'm going to share it with everyone. The key to the things that I'm going to speak about tonight is, you're either going to walk out of this door and say, I'm going to try that, or you're just going to walk out and say, that was a really nice lecture. Or some of you might actually go like, what the heck was this guy talking about? I'm sure it's going to be one of the first two though. So, I divided this lecture tonight into 3 sections. I'm not going to tell you all the sections from the beginning, from the get-go. I'm just going to start. We're going to go right into it. We're going to get into some of the issues that we have in dating. Yes, we're going to start with the issues first, the problems. Number 1, here are some misconceptions of priorities. What should our priorities be when we're dating? There are priorities when you date. How can we pinpoint what those priorities should be? So, priority A. You guys ready for this? Looks. How important are looks in the dating life? Is it important? Is it not important? Who do I listen to? I know this is something everybody thinks about, and I'm sorry, it's not just the guys. It's the girls too. We all have this, basic instinct of like, I don't know. I can't stand that guy. So is it really something that's important? We should really think about, we should ponder it, or we should just never mind it. As we do all the time, the Jews always look in one place for answers. And when I say this, I want you to understand. Baruch Hashem, we've done this for thousands of years with 100% success. We're not looking for theories here. We're not looking for, so-and-so science shows, and then 10 years later, just so happened that science was wrong. We have a better source than anything else. It's called the Torah. Everything we learn about relationships, about life, about everything is in the Torah. So let's look at the Torah. Let's look at what the Torah has to say about looks. How important are looks in the Torah? And I have the perfect example for you. In the Torah, it says, Abraham, our first patriarch, Abraham, I have to do bilingual here, Abraham or Abraham. Abraham and Sarah, we're traveling. And it's just to make you feel welcome. We're in Beverly Hills. If you're not from Beverly Hills, don't tell anyone. Abraham and Sarah traveled to Egypt. And Abraham turns to Sarah and says, I've just realized that you are a very beautiful woman. Please, when we go into Egypt, don't tell anyone that you're my wife. Let's tell everyone that you are my sister. This way, first of all, I'll survive. They won't kill me to marry you. Second of all, they'll really be gracious with me. They're going to give me a lot of money because if they want to marry you, they'll have to pay me. And gifts, they're going to give me gifts because I have a beautiful sister. Hoping that, I'll pick one of them as your husband. All that is nice. Have you ever thought to yourself, how long had Abraham and Sarah been married at that time? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. A long time they had been married already. A long time. Now, the Torah says they get to Egypt, and all of a sudden Abraham says, literally, now I notice that you're beautiful. It's like, imagine your husband or your boyfriend or whoever you're dating sits in the car after 6 months of dating. Now, I'm not saying you should be dating for 6 months. We'll discuss that. Your husband comes home one day from work. You've been married for 10 years. And he's all like busy, he picks up his suitcase, and you didn't like really prepare anything. You're just doing the chores or whatever it is, you're taking care of the kids. And he looks up and goes, huh. You go, what? Deborah, you know, I just realized, you're actually beautiful. It's the craziest thing. You know, it reminds me, I was on a trip with a group, and we were sitting, and we have one of my favorite parts of having trips, organized trips, is discussion groups. We have a lot of discussions, really heated discussions. And one of these discussion groups went on to like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was in Sfat, actually. We're sitting in the hallway, and we're having all these discussions about all these different matters. After I finish, by finish I mean I completely stumped all the people that were arguing me about the matters. And I'm like sweating, and everyone's like, oh my God, you know, that was awesome. That was a good... One of the students turns to me and goes, you know something, Rabbi? I just realized something. You're actually intelligent. Now, she was trying to be supportive, and it was supposed to be a compliment, but you know, it didn't come out that way completely. It was completely by accident. But imagine your husband comes home and goes, you know, Sarah, you're actually pretty. That's what happened with Abraham. They get to Egypt, and all of a sudden Abraham looks at Sarah and says, you know what, Sarah? You're actually beautiful. Let's have a plan here, because in Egypt it was the custom, where if somebody was married, God forbid, nobody wanted a married wife. They wouldn't steal somebody's wife. No. What they would do is hire somebody to go kill the husband, and now she's free. And they would marry her. So he said, let's not do that. Just say you're my sister. So what's with that? How did he just realize that she is beautiful? He hadn't realized all those years? The answer is profound, yet quite simple. You see, Egypt, in our Torah, the way Egypt has always been depicted by the Torah and all the sources that we have in history by the Jewish nation, Egypt stood for one thing. Egypt stood for, like we say it in the Torah terms, when the Jews were enslaved in Egypt, they had stooped to 49 levels of tumah, impurity. What was that impurity? It was all about lust. That's what Egypt stood for. It was all about lust and fun, and that was Egypt. You walked in, that's what it was. They say that the brothers of Joseph, when they sold him as a slave, and then they went to Egypt, they found out he kind of ended up in Egypt. When they were hungry and they went there after the famine, the brothers of Joseph, it says, Midrashim say that they went there looking for Joseph. Maybe he survived. They'll bring him back home or do something with him. Where did they look? They looked literally in the bars and the taverns and places of immorality. They said for sure, if he's been here this long, that's where he ended up. That's what Egypt was. Abraham gets to Egypt with Sarah. They enter, and what happens? Abraham looks at his wife as if for the first time. You're kind of beautiful. You know what happened? You know what it teaches us? It's all subjective. You think Abraham didn't know what beauty is? He knew exactly what beauty is. But you know what happened? It didn't matter to him. He had Sarah Imenu. He had Sarah as a wife. And she was much more than outer beauty. She was the matriarch. She's the first mother of the Jewish nation. She was a holy woman. She was the woman he was going to build Am Yisrael with. Nothing else mattered. Nothing. Looks, Who cares? It's not like he didn't know she's beautiful. Of course he did. But it didn't matter. It never came up. She didn't care. He didn't care. But all of a sudden, they come to a place where the scene changes. Now there's something called style. And for the first time, it's as if Abraham looks at his wife. It's all subjective. Beauty, handsomeness, all of it is subjective. I'll prove it to you. Do you want me to prove it to you? Do you want me to prove it? I prove it to you. I'm sure you all know. 30 years ago, back in wherever eastern country we all came from, we're mostly Sephardim here, or some half, wherever we came from. 30, 40 years ago, a mustache was a sign of what? Like there was a time where, like, I remember some people told me, Persians, when they escaped from Iran, they came from Austria, right? And in Austria was like a big pot of cholent. Everybody lived together in the same places. That's what Austria was, right? People had fun with each other. It was like a careless world. It's like right in between everything. They're not in America yet, so they don't have the responsibilities. They're not back in Iran anymore, so whatever. The worst thing, a group of guys told me this, the worst thing they did to this guy was, when he was asleep, they shaved his mustache. And they told me, like, his mother and his father were like, it was like, chas v'shalom, avelut, like, oh my God, they got his mustache. He's no longer a man. It's finished. That's what a mustache was. Right now, I don't know. It's not such a big deal anymore. At one point, a clean-shaven guy was a clean guy, right? Clean-shaven, you show class if you're clean-shaven. If you had a beard, you're lazy, or you're dirty, or you're a rabbi, which some people would look at and be like, either way, I'm not interested. Nowadays, dude, there are people that put rabbis to shame. Long hair, beards, and it's in style. Now there's shampoos for beards. Guys are buying shampoos like, oh, touched it. What happened? Beauty changes. Same goes for women, by the way. It's not all the guys, but I'm just too afraid. So we're just going to stick, I'm sure you guys could apply it to where it really, we're not going to do that, guys. I'm sorry, you could just apply it into your mind. So beauty is very subjective. If it is, therefore, how important is it in a relationship? When you date someone, how important is it for you to be, oh my God? By the way, I should tell you. Sakhai. I pity anybody that goes on a date and on a first date and falls head over heels for the looks. I pity you. It is the worst situation a person can be in anyway. Because, boop, you're blind. It's finished. Anybody that falls for those looks, you're done for. You have to go to bed every night praying to God for somebody to save you, because there is no way you could save yourself. That's the worst thing to get into. I remember. I'm not going to tell you what I remember. No, I'm kidding. It just so happened, I had a friend of mine. He went out with this really drop-dead gorgeous girl. Yes, I had friends. Why is everyone so puzzled? I still have redheads are allowed to have friends. So a friend of mine comes to me and goes, Yitzchak, this was back in yeshiva days. I got a problem. Like, what's up? He goes, I went out with this girl and she's drop-dead gorgeous. So I'm like, yeah, waiting for the problem part. She carry a gun? What is it? Did she eat like a cow in front of you? What happened? No, he says, no, you know what happened? It's like, there is no way I'm dumping this girl. It's not happening. I can't. I can't see anything beyond her beauty. She could do whatever she wants. I can't. I'm just completely blinded by it. So I said, what are you going to do? This was in Israel. He's like, during the date, I went to the kotel with her. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Nice. That's so spiritual. I love it when people are spiritual. So he's like, we went to the kotel. I said, okay, that's great. He's like, yeah, I literally cried my eyes out. I said, why? He's like, I went to the wall and I said, God, this is not funny. If she's not for me, I can't break this up. So if she isn't, it's on you. Please finish this. I don't want... And Baruch Hashem, he's happily married now. Look at all the guys. To her? No, it's not to her. Actually, it's not to her. And he's happy. Looks are barely anything. We learn that from the Torah. It's just about what social, where are you socially? It's all about what's in style. My parents were moving yesterday. Believe it or not, my mother found an old glasses of mine, right? Pair of glasses. It's from when I was like 10 years old, back in Iran. And it was plastic glasses, almost exactly like these. And she picks it up and she shows it to my other siblings and goes, tell me, is this that ugly that he gave me hell and he would not wear it to school until the number of his prescription went up because he refused to wear it because he said it's ugly, it's ugly. Look at it. It's the same exact thing as he's wearing now. She was right. But I said, Mom, at that time, every kid was wearing metal glasses. It wasn't the style. So because it wasn't the style, it wasn't cool. Me wearing it made me look bad. Sometimes, yes, it's true. You can't make your kids suffer like that. But we parents, even I'm a parent now, we don't know. We make mistakes. But when it comes to dating, that shouldn't be something that we 100% rely on. We shouldn't look for beauty and think, oh my God, if I'm not attracted to this girl, no. Hey, you want to go out with this guy? No. Why? I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me. Have you gone out yet? No. Have you seen him? Kinda around. So, one date? No. No. What? No. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. We tend to not understand. It's like we're not registering. Sometimes I tell guys that have this attitude, I go, dude, if you talk to me about dating, I have a rule. The first 2, maximum 3, there is no dinner. First time for sure, it's a drink, coffee or a soda. That's how it should be. I have rules. That is details. I can't talk about it here. We can talk about it later. But I tell them, like, listen, seriously, it's just a coffee. Think about wasting an hour of your life. How many hours do we waste on a daily basis? Seriously, on our phones. Hours are wasted. Imagine you're on your phone. Go sit down with a girl. Go sit down with a guy. Have a conversation. If it's a no, then it's a no. You can't just look at a person and go, doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is that you want it to do from one view. It just doesn't. It's not how it is. It shouldn't be. Looks are important, but not that important. And I'll tell you when it is important. If you go out on a date 3 times, how many times? The good boys and girls. You go out on a date 3 times, and you feel like, seriously, it just doesn't do it for me. I can't. Then I'll be the first one to say, it's over. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You can't go out 6 months and be like, I don't know, I tried half a year, and he's just ugly. Like, took you 6 months. If it doesn't do it for you, and God forbid, we're not saying anybody's uglier. Everybody has their own. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has created us in this way where we match. Our neshamot match, our bodies match, everything matches. It's okay. But for us to take one look and say, it doesn't do it for me, I don't know what you're looking for. It doesn't work that way. And it shouldn't work that way. And if you are like that, then I'm glad we're having this shiur tonight. Because it needs to change. Too many people have passed on the chance of a lifetime of really being with their soulmate, truly with their soulmate, all because of that first no. Give it a try. No. Just an hour. No. What? Think about it. Hollywood. How unbelievably happy are people in Hollywood? The actors and the actresses. Every time you see those pictures, they're so profoundly happy. They must be on awesome pills. They're always happy. But seriously, you read on the news, this one cheated on that one cheated on that one, she was there. And then, guys probably know about this more, but girls also know about this. You look at the pictures and you look at the girl or you look at the guy and you go like, why would someone cheat on that? How does someone do that? Like, it's crazy. You think to yourself like, oh my God, I would bow down to such a thing. Yeah, that should prove to you. Looks are nothing. After marriage especially, I'm sorry to say, we'll learn. I have for that too. I'm prepared. But after marriage, after a year, you both just become normal. It won't matter. So what you need to look for in a date is not that, oh my God, drop dead. That's it. This is the one I want. No. You need to look for, okay. Yes, I feel a little tinkle. I feel a little butterfly. It doesn't have to be the greatest, the hottest person on the planet. That's not what we need to look for because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you need to look inside the person and feel this is the person I want to live with for the rest of my life. This is the person that I want to raise my children with. That's what's important. 100%. Looks, 50. 25%. As long as you're not completely, I can't. So number one, looks. You guys so far following all of this?
I could go slower.
No? I'm kidding. Point number two, misconceptions. Number two. And I'm going to do this as perfectly as I can. Watch how perfect I've got this down, okay? You'll see. Watch this.
But Rabbi, I'm just not in love.
I want to be in love, Rabbi. You laugh, but it's sad. I'll tell you why. If you're looking to fall in love during the dating process, you're fooling yourselves. During the dating process, if you actually feel you're in love, like really in love, oh man, you have no idea. Wait until a day after the chuppah. Literally a day after the chuppah. What happens under the chuppah is so kadosh, it's so holy. Your whole being changes. You become one. You're no longer two people. There's kedusha there. There's holiness there. You wake up the next day and you look at the other person and go, oh my God, I thought I loved him, but I didn't. Now I'm feeling something. And then little by little, you start building love. If you fall in love, you know what happens when people fall? That's why they call it falling in love. The best that could happen in that scenario is you get up, wipe yourself off, and walk away. That's what falling in love is. It goes away. A love that a person makes in a relationship is forever because you worked on it. Love has to be worked on. It's not something that you could snap your finger and be like, oh my God, we're so in love right now. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen. We wish it was, but it's not. You will come in a dating process to like each other a lot because you match. Those are the things that are going to be important. And then what happens is, because of this, the consequence is, most of the time, what people do is, we start dating for a long time because we don't feel that love coming, and we're just waiting to fall in love. We keep dating longer and longer and longer, and check this on Google yourself. Google this. Studies show that people that date longer and are in longer relationships before getting married have the highest chance of divorce during marriage. Highest chance of divorce comes from long-term dating. Why? It's very simple. Because you date that long, you're going to be like, break up now, all this time? We've dated, all the time we put in, it's embarrassing. I was invited to their house for Pesach. You know? Her mother cooked formatati for me. I can't do it now. Well, it's true. We think these things. We're too ashamed to want to do it. It's like, dude, I dated so many people, and finally this is the longest date I've ever been on. I'm not. You know what happens? 2 months into your marriage, God forbid, you're going to start thinking like, what the heck did I do? I don't even like this person. I forced it. That's where divorce comes in, God forbid. So don't look to fall in love. What you need to look for, what everyone needs to look for in a dating process is compatibility. How compatible am I with this person? And that's not like, honey, come here. Can you stand side by me? I want to see how much taller are you? I don't know. No. If it's not at least 3 inches, it's not happening. We're not compatible. We're not talking about height. Compatibility means you could sit down and actually say, the goals that I have in my life, where I want to get to in my life, not that this person is going to want to get there too. No. The goals that I have in my life, this person is going to be the best person to help me get there. This is my partner for life. And it's not just men thinking that about girls, because women are, naturally the powerhouse of the family, and she's the backbone of the husband. That's true. But it's vice versa too. A girl needs to look for a husband and say, where I'm trying to get in my life, what I'm trying to do in my life, the way I want to raise my kids, hopefully in the right Jewish way, is this the father that I want to be there side by me, helping me do that with my kids, with my family, with my job, whatever it might be. That's what you look for. Are we compatible in that sense? No matter what, do not look and say, well, he's this, he's that, she's this, she's that. She'll change. You fool. It's never gonna happen. It's not. Don't go on a date and think to yourself, well, he's almost what I wanted. I got this. I'm gonna badback him until he changes. I'm sorry for those of you that don't speak full Persian, but sometimes these words can't be translated. Because it comes from the heart. It doesn't work that way. It might happen. You might help each other change. But if during your date, if that's what you're thinking, if that's what you're feeling, you're already on the wrong track, because you're going to constantly think that, well, he's got this, I'll change that. She's got that, I'll change that. Yeah, she doesn't want to keep this, she'll do it for me. Oh boy, you fools. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen. And most of the time that causes breakups and divorces. Whatever it is you want in life, you have to say, This is the one compatible for me. And the things you feel are missing, you need to convince yourself it's not going to happen. At least not for me. If she or he wants to later on, that's great. But whatever it is you're getting, you have to be happy with what it is now. If you set your goals for, oh, I'm going to change him, no, it's not going to happen. If you have all of the above that I just mentioned, then love is made. It won't just come. It'll be made. Love has to be worked on. It's not a pit for you to fall into. Love is amazing. It's in the Torah many times. But it only happens when you work on it. When we expect the love that we see on TV and in movies and stuff, where like two people see each other, love at first sight, yada, 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 movie ends. Doesn't work that way. In real life, you have to work. You have to earn it. And that's the most powerful love you could have. You know why? Because anything you build, you care for. It's important to you. If it just comes by itself, anything not earned has no value. If you don't believe me, ask these billionaires and millionaires that just got their money from their family and didn't earn a penny of it. How much money do they spend on a weekly basis, on a daily basis? Versus people that actually earned their money. And when you sit down with them and talk to them, you see how different they are. Because anything earned is valuable to you. You want true love? Earn it. Make it. And it's not going to happen during the dating process. You should hope it doesn't. You have to like each other. You have to enjoy each other's company. I often ask, when someone's a little confused on a date, Rabbi, I don't know, like, this is the question I ask. Do you wait for that phone call? Do you get butterflies every time she or he calls? Does it make you happy to talk to that person? And if it's a yes, then you're okay. But if you're just careless and she or he doesn't do it for you, then okay, you have something to talk about. Let's see why. But it still doesn't call yet for a breakup. We'll talk about that too. Misconception number 3. This, my friends, is my favorite. All-time favorite. You don't understand. I think I actually asked to do this lecture just for this. Just so I can say this. I love lashing out publicly my feelings. L'chaim, everybody. It's tea, by the way. It's not. I wanted whiskey, but they're like, Rabbi, please. Already as it is, you're kind of Irish and drunk all the time. Okay? I want to ask everybody an open question. And I don't care if you guys answer out loud, whatever. Why do we have the dating process? What do we want to gain from the dating process? What do we do? Like, we date so that, what? To get to know each other, right? Build on that. Somebody build on that. Thank you, Eden. What? To get married. But before marriage, we date. To get married, better understanding of who we are. You are deep. To get a better understanding, I think, meditate on that idea. But build on what Eden said. We date so that we get to know each other better. So that when you decide, if you decide that you're going to marry each other, when you decide this is the person, you are not just strangers. You are friends. You want to have a friend. You're friends. You know each other, right? That's what you want. You don't want to, it's like you're not going to the marketplace and going, I'll take that one. You're actually dating so that you'll be friends. You'll know each other, that you're compatible and you like the same things. You like the same movies. You like the same kinds of food. Somewhat, unless it's like
intermarriage, where it's like an Ashkenaz person and a Sephardic person, I have to have rice on Pesach.
Kidding. God forbid. But you need to know that you're going to be friends. So, everyone agree with this? I need nods. Does everybody agree that you need to be friends? Yes? Okay. Answer me this puzzle, please. I need help. I might not sleep tonight. I need this answer. Help me. I'm a redhead. Nobody likes me. My wife married me out of pity. So answer me this question, please. I'll do the scene for you. How about that? I think it'll stick better if I do the scene. I go to her and go, hey, Sarah, you know Jonathan? Yeah, what about him? So I'm thinking like, he's 26, you're 22, and he's a doctor, and you're in pharmacy school, and I was thinking like, I think it's a great match. Oh, Rabbi, thank you. But no. Why? We're friends. What do you mean? Yeah, but just, we're really good friends. It's just, well, you're really good friends. Half the job is done. That's amazing. Bullseye. It's like, I'm God. How did I know? But then again, no, thank you so much, Rabbi. We're friends. Okay, how about David? We're friends. Family friends, actually. Pretty close. Yeah, our families are friends too. What is wrong with you, family? Your family's friends too? 100% of the job is just done. Done. In-laws won't fight each other. They won't hate each other for life. This is amazing. But no, Rabbi, we're friends. You're laughing, but how true is this? How many times, look at yourselves, how many times have you actually given this excuse? Why is it that if you're friends, you can't, I'm not saying if you're friends, you're made for each other. That's not what I'm saying. It's not how it works. What I'm saying is, if you are friends and somebody comes to you and says, hey, what do you think of this person? You're like, you know what? We are friends. I'm willing to give it a chance. Professionally date. And I'll tell you why. You ready to hear why? Because when you're friends, you're just friends. Friends don't necessarily mean you know everything about that person and their goals and who they're going to be with the person they want to live with. Because friends like to act like idiots in front of friends or show off or, it's like, it's friends. But until you're actually on a date and that person dresses up and gets professional, girl or boy, and has a good head on their shoulder thinking, I'm trying to decide if this is the person for me for the rest of my life to raise my family, and that person knows, now it becomes like an interview. It's totally different. And there are things that you will find out about that person on a date that you never knew as a friend. Because I don't have to tell you everything. We're friends, but you don't have to know every detail of my life and what I want in my future. So what is it with us? Why don't we want to do that? If you just answered your own question, you go on a date, you go on several dates in order for you to be friends before you're married. So if you already know so much about that person and you are kind of friends, then why not just give it a chance? Again, I'm not saying that's the person for you. I'm saying give it that hour of coffee. Give it a chance. You never know. I know people that were friends, family friends, and same kind of friction was happening. Like, oh, we're only friends. We're kind of related, far related, second, third cousins through a door of, Uncle Joey, whatever. And they're very happily married. I'm not joking. What's wrong with being friends? Half the job's done. We have to be able to give it a chance. Either that or stop making friends. Am I wrong? Either that, because look, it just so happens that unfortunately, out of 10 times that I try to set people up together, 8 out of 10, I get that answer. But we're friends. Well, move out of town. Because it seems you have so many friends, there is nobody left in this town. Go to Alaska. I don't know. Find some backpack random guy over there that has a lot of friends over there. And can't find his zivug there, so hey. And it's so much, unfortunately, that's what's happening. It happens a lot. We get a lot of people from out of town. You get a stranger from, there's nothing wrong with it, God forbid. You get somebody comes from New York or Atlanta or something like that, and the whole community is like, oh, new guy. But in Great Neck, the new guy is every person's friend. That's why he's here. This is not just happening here. It's happening everywhere. We just keep making friends of the opposite sex, and because of that, we're not. So, either stop making friends, which is my suggestion, that's the number one goal. This is why rabbis in Orthodox Judaism does not believe in having friends of the opposite gender. There's no reason for it. If you don't, then everybody, not everybody, most people become potential dates. Then we won't have a crisis of, there's no more girls, Rabbi. Nothing. Have you gone out with so-and-so? We're friends. Have you gone out with Sarah? Oh, Sarah who? Oh, that's Sarah. Yeah, we're really good friends. She's great. And this is possibly, I feel, in our communities, this is something that's becoming a major problem. We laugh about it. But it unfortunately has become a big problem, where people feel they're too close to someone for them to date them. But it's unnatural. If you keep saying it to yourself, you'll realize it's logically unnatural. You know each other too well, you like each other, but you can't date. So that's point number 3. Throw friendship out of the door. It really is okay. I remember when I was dating, I had policies when I was dating. Oh, my wife is here. Okay, so we'll go to the next. I forgot. I had policies. And I'll just say it. One was, for instance, I used to have a lot of fun with my friends. Some of my closest friends are here. We used to, Persians like to naturally make fun of different towns. If you're from Esfahan, you make fun of Shiraz. And if you're from Hamadan, you make fun of... So we used to do this a lot, right? And I'm an Esfahani. Redneck. That's what I am. So us with my friends, it was like, picking on the Shirazis and the Shirazis picking on us. It was a joke, right? And I would often get calls from rabbis, and they'd be like, so-and-so girl, you want to go out with her? I'm like, why not? Well, she is Shirazi. I'm like, what are you, crazy? So what? It's a joke. I really don't care. And oftentimes it would happen that person would be like, oh, him, yeah, I know him already. We're kind of friends. And I would be like, so what? That was my policy. I did not care if we're friends. If somebody went through the trouble of thinking that this is a good match, I would give it a chance. It wasn't a big deal for me, and this is something that I owe to my mom, by the way. She should be well. She would always tell me, listen, all these jokes we make, throw it all out. Because you never know who your zivug is. Always give it a chance. People, please understand. We are nothing. We are puppets. Someone else is trying to run the show. All we have to do is let him. We keep shutting every chance we have down. It's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I keep giving you these chances. Take one of them. Maybe something will come out of it. Give it a chance. We have to believe that He is actually working on this. We have to give it a chance. Everyone's going to go out of here, go home. So, Rebecca, what did Rabbi say? I'm dating all my friends. And then I'll start getting the calls from the parents. Rabbi, korpone. Those were the three misconceptions. We got 2 levels to go. Level number 1. How do we know? When do we know? This is a question everyone gets around the mid-area of dating. You get that confusing feeling in your stomach like, what if I didn't date enough? What if 27 people is not enough? What if I need to date at least 30 people before I know? Like, is he really the one? Is she really the one? How do I know? What do we do? These are good questions. So what do we do? How do you know that's the one? See? That's where the Pirkei Avot comes in. The Pirkei Avot says, one of the most famous, I believe, lines from the Pirkei Avot. Aseh lecha rav. The Pirkei Avot has an order. In the Mishnah it says, you must make for yourself a rav, a rabbi, a mentor. You must have one. If you're all alone, you are lost from the beginning to the end. There is no hope. We all feel we have to do everything alone. We don't. The Pirkei Avot says, and this is not about dating, the Pirkei Avot says, every individual, man, woman, everyone, the greatest rabbi, Chachamim in Eretz Yisrael, they have their own rabbi. There have been rabbis of great honor that have had rabbis of their own that were less in power than themselves. But they called them their own Rav. Why? We do it because the Mishnah says we should. Again, for thousands of years we have guarantees this is what works. I'm not going to go and change it because, maybe this theory is right too. We'll leave theories alone. I want facts. Facts come from evidence. Evidence says the Jewish nation has prospered until now in every aspect of life, and most of it has been because of having good mentorship. You know, we're coming to the holiday of Purim, right? Right. Purim is coming up in a couple of weeks. Everyone knows the story of Purim. Purim happened when Mordechai and Esther lived in Shushan, which is Hamadan right now in Iran, actually. The city of Shushan under King Achashverosh. And Haman wanted to kill all the Jews. Minar v'atzaken, everybody, old, young, women, children, everybody had to go. Where did that come from? Why did Haman decide to do this? Give you a little short version of the movie. The story. So Achashverosh has a big party, invites everybody, all the Jews to come to his party. And in this party, he has glad kosher food. Catering, no joke. This was glad kosher food. Mordechai himself was the mashkiach and the shochet. Imagine Mordechai, one of the pretty much the prophets of the time, the leaders of the time, was the mashkiach. He was tending to the glad kosher food. Achashverosh wanted to make sure every single Jew can come. Traditional, glad, kosher, everybody. Modern Orthodox, everyone could come. Mordechai turns to the Jews and says, you cannot go to this party. He's the mashkiach. He's making sure it's kosher. But he had to do it because he was a part of the army. He was a general for Achashverosh. Many of the wars, in fact, that Achashverosh won were because of Mordechai. He was trusted. However, he turned to all the Jews and said, do not go. The Jews turned to Mordechai and said, Mordechai, this is halacha. The halacha says, pikuach nefesh. Your life comes first. If we don't accept the invitation of King Achashverosh, who is ruling over 127 places, we're doomed. It's a disrespect. You're asking us to go against the Torah. The Torah says, "Ushmartem et nafshotechem," you have to take care of your lives. We're doing that. If on Shabbat, God forbid, someone gets gravely ill, they have to go to the hospital, drive, get an ambulance, whatever it takes. You have to break Shabbat because your life is number one. They turn to Mordechai and they go, "Mordechai, what are you asking us to do? You're asking us to risk our lives? We can't do this." And Mordechai stands strong and says, "Do not go to this party." What did the Jews do? They didn't listen. They went to the party. And it was a fantastic party. Glad kosher food, everybody had fun. Achashverosh made sure everybody's comfortable. They had beds to lie on, and it was days and days long. Nothing happened. Everything was perfect. Everybody comes out and says, "You see, Mordechai was wrong." Now I could actually do the Persian accent because they were Persian. "You see, Mordechai was wrong." A few weeks later, when Haman comes to power, there was a decree. Everyone has to bow down to Haman. Haman wanted everybody to bow down to him. As he walked through the streets, all the Jews, non-Jews, everybody was bowing down out of fear for their lives. It's natural. One person doesn't bow down. Mordechai. All the Jews turned to him, "What are you doing to us? Just bow down. It's pikuach nefesh. We're allowed to. They own us. Don't make him angry. Just bow down and get it over with." And Mordechai would say, "No, he wants to desecrate God's name. I'm not bowing down." "Mordechai, are you crazy? We're following your Torah, your teachings." He would say, "Not this time. I'm not bowing down." And naturally, Haman becomes very upset because of Mordechai. The story says he became angered. Mordechai wouldn't bow down to him. He goes to his home and he says, "All the money in the world, all the respect that I get, it's worthless." Why? Because Mordechai won't bow down to me. And he decides to annihilate the entire Jewish nation. Writes edicts, sends them to 127 states under Achashverosh's rule. On this date of Adar, you're going to go on a killing spree. All Jews must die. And everyone had to listen. What do you think happened next? The Jews come to Mordechai and they go, "We told you not to do this. Why? Why, Mordechai? Why didn't you listen to us? Why?" Guess what? That didn't happen. All the Jews came to Mordechai. You know what they said? "We're sorry. What do we do now?" What? You all know that this is happening because of Mordechai. If you read the story, that's what you will think. Like, this is happening because of Mordechai. Haman's doing this because of his anger towards Mordechai. But the Jews knew, deep down, it's not because of Mordechai. It's because we went to that party. He was our Rav. He told us not to go, and we listened. And we should have listened, and we didn't. And that started the spiral effect. We should have listened to Mordechai. So they come to Mordechai and ask for help. And Mordechai tells them, fast for 3 days. Esther's going to be fasting in the palace, and we're going to pray. Do teshuvah, repent, and it will be over. And that's what the Jews did. And that repentance was so great that Chachamim say the Jews accepted the Torah a second time during the time of Haman. It was like the giving of the Torah once again, out of love. That's the power, the koach of listening to a Rav. Everyone must have a rabbi, a mentor to listen to in life, whether it's about dating or anything else. You must be asking yourselves, what if the Rav is this or is that? First of all, you have to pick a capable rabbi. That's for sure. Somebody that knows the Torah, somebody that knows how to mentor, that has a good track record of being a tzaddik, righteous. Mainstream rabbi, not self-made. Once you have that, then I'll explain to you how this works. It's magical. The Torah says to us that if a rabbi tells you that your left hand is your right hand and your right hand is your left hand, what do? Rashi says, explains it. Lo tasug mimenu yaminu small. Rashi says, if he says your right is your left and your left is your right, accept it. All the rabbis ask, what do you mean? It's actually telling you that he's saying it wrong. Rashi himself, the greatest commentary of the Torah, says he's telling you that he's telling you the wrong thing. He's saying right is left, left is right. Everybody knows that's wrong. So why should I listen? If everybody agrees that the sky is blue and this guy is like, sky is yellowish, purplish. If he's wrong, right? So does Rashi really telling us. Listen to what the Chachamim explain. Chachamim say, the Torah says, Lo tasur mimenu yaminu small. Don't go right or left. Stay on track as to what your Rav tells you. So when you listen to a rabbi, your Rav, your own personal rabbi, what are you actually listening to? Whose decree are you listening to? The rabbis or God's? The Torah's? We're listening to a commandment of the Torah. So basically God is telling us in the Torah, if I'm telling you you should have a rabbi to listen to, even if he makes a mistake, because you're listening to me, I won't let you lose out because of it. Because it's not your fault. People make mistakes. But I want you to have a mentor. Therefore, if your mentor sometimes gives you the wrong advice, I'll make sure that advice will work for you. Guaranteed. Why? Because you're listening to me, not that person. That's the bracha that comes from doing that mitzvah. It has its own merit. I've tried this. Believe me, I've been in that situation. I was in a situation, I called my rabbi. And I said, Rabbi, what do I do in this situation? And he thinks for a moment. And he says, here's what you're going to do to the T. Don't leave anything out. Here's what you're going to tell that other person. You're going to say this. If not, I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. That's it. Done. That's what you're going to say. I'm like, okay. I'm not joking with you. I'm not over-exaggerating this. I hung up the phone. I'm thinking to myself, what? I do that, it's over. I do that, it's not happening. It's crazy. He probably doesn't know that person as well as I know. If I do this, it's over. It's done. We're done for. It's not going to happen. But then I remembered that my rabbis taught me from the Torah, you know what? Trust it. Go with it. If you're doing the mitzvah of the Torah, then don't let go now. Go all the way. Do it. And I looked at Hashem and said, Ribono shel olam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm listening to you. This is you. You want me to listen to my rabbi? So be it. I'm going to shoot myself in the foot right now, but I'm doing it for you. You don't let me down now. I did it. And it blew up in my face. Big time. Hung up the phone. I'm like, wow. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it was very hard on me. 2 days later, everything worked out. Better than I ever expected. Miraculously. And that taught me a lesson for life. If you're going to have a wrong, and you accept that person as your mentor, that's it. You listen to that person, it's going to work out. Because he's not the only one involved. You're going to have God on your side. And again, especially when it comes to marriage and dating, there's so much holiness involved. He's there every step of the way. Because this is our nation. This is our generation. This is what we're here for. So he's involved from step one. There's a story that's told about Rav Shach. Rav Shach was one of the Gedolei Hador. He was one of the greats of the generation. He passed away not too long ago. Two rabbis come to Rav Shach one time, and they ask him a very difficult question. Mid-sentence, Rav Shach stops them. Mid-sentence, knowing what their question is going to be, stops them and says, "Excuse me, why are you asking this question from me?" Because the Stifler Gaon, which was the greatest rabbi of the generation, he's already answered this question. And he's the Rav of the generation, and we listen to him. I have nothing to say. Obviously, they were looking for another answer. As they turned away to go, Rav Shach said, and in the merit that you listen to the Rav of the generation, I promise you, in that merit, it's going to work out for you. You don't need second opinions when it comes to this. You need to trust Hashem. And our last point for the night. So we did the when, how to know, when to know. You need to have a mentor. You involve that person from day one, and that person hopefully will help you maneuver through your situation. And you should have it not even through dating. You should have one for anything. Now we go to our last part, last section, and the most important part of tonight. Tefillah, prayer, is number one. We often feel hopeless, like we have nothing. We often feel like we're alone, but we're not supposed to. We shouldn't. Gemara Brachot says that there is a tool that we have, and it's the most powerful tool that exists. But unfortunately, most people do not know the value and the strength of this tool. And the Gemara asks, what's this tool? And the Gemara, the Talmud answers, it's prayer. Tefillah. Don't be afraid to open your hearts. Don't be afraid to cry to Hashem. Ask for help. God knows, even when I was dating, how many nights I cried to Hashem and I prayed, Hashem, please direct me in the right path. Show me the person that I could live with, that I could start a family with. That's what we have to pray for. On a date, you go on a date, afterwards you have to come home and say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please help me. Please help me make the right decisions. You cannot do this alone. We cannot do anything alone. Tefillah is the greatest and the most powerful tool we have. And it's a shame if we don't use it. 10 times a day. And I mean it. Walk around, talk to Hashem. It'll make you feel better in life, and it will help you make better decisions. Guaranteed, 100%, I'll sign on it. I don't know how people don't do tefillah every day. I don't know how people don't pray. If you don't pray, I feel it's instant depression. I can't, how do you bottle everything inside without wanting to talk to somebody, but really say everything you want to say? You can't do that with a therapist, you can't do that with a rabbi, you can't even do that with a friend, you can't do it with parents. With Hashem, He knows it anyway. But we need to tell it. We need to get it out of our system. Sometimes hearing ourselves say our own problems, that's 50% of the job. It already helps. We have to be able to talk to Hashem. And that's when everything will fall into place. Our Chachamim tell us, a zivug, a match made in heaven, for Hashem to make a match, to bring a man and a girl together is as difficult as the splitting of the sea when the Jews came out of Egypt. Can you imagine? I always thought living with a woman was as difficult as splitting. Well, my wife is there, so. Chachamim does. That putting the two together for Hashem is as difficult as splitting of the sea. Obviously, we know nothing is difficult for God. It's metaphorically telling us the miracle that is involved in putting two people together. You could be across the world. And if Hashem wants it, you'll be together. But that's as long as we involve Hashem. We need to involve Him. I'm going to share a story with you. This will show the power of Hashem, miracles, and the power of having a rough. There was a boy, and he was in his late 20s already. Nothing was working out for him. And he kind of had a clue about what the problem was. See, this boy had a scar on his face, a deep scar. And he felt like every time he went on a date, after the first or second date, the girls just couldn't stand him. You know, with a deep scar on his face, he felt like half the time they don't even want to look at him face to face because of the scar on his face. And it was just really hurting him. So finally, he goes to his Rav, and he goes to Rav Kanievsky. He asks the Rav for an etzah. What should I do? Here's my problem. And I feel every time I go on a date, it's because of the scar that I'm not being able to be successful. They just can't stand it. Is it my fault that I have this scar on my face? Why is this happening to me? Why is Hashem doing this to me? But Kanievsky feels for him and says, here's what I want you to do. Next time you go out on a date, open with it. Don't even give her a chance. Open with your story. Bring it out in the open. Talk about the elephant in the room. And give the story of how you got the scar. So he's like, what? I'm already, thinking to himself, I'm already embarrassed enough about it. Now you want me to actually talk about it on a date? I'm already nervous enough. Now you want me to bring it up and actually talk to the girl? By the way, you want to know how I got my scar that's making me so ugly? Wait. Well, Kanievsky tells him, that's what I want you to do. And he says, okay. Finally gets set up on another date, a shidduch date. Blind date. Those are blind dates, by the way, for those of you who don't know what a blind date is because you have so many friends. Those are dates that you're set up, especially like, let's say in Israel. They'll tell you to go to so-and-so hotel lobby and hold a flower or whatever and wait for the girl to come. In my case, I never needed a flower. The girl always had to be told by the rabbis, look for the redhead. They'll just sit there and go, oh, nobody else in this room with red hair, so I guess you are my date tonight. So they go out, they sit down, and he notices the girl right away. She's trying to avoid it, but she keeps looking at it. So he says, you know what, Rav Kanievsky told me this is what I have to do, I'm going to do it. She says, so, by the way, I noticed you were looking at my scar and I want to talk to you about it. I hope you don't get uncomfortable. And she says, oh, no, it's okay. I didn't even see it there. What? Scar? Mufasa? She doesn't really say that. I'm evil. That's okay. She says, I was walking down a street at night in Jerusalem one night, and I heard a girl scream. And I ran towards the scream, and I saw an Arab person chasing a girl in the street, and he's cornering her. And I ran to save her. And I ran, and I got into a fight with him, and the girl, thank God, was able to get away. By the time the girl got away, the guy pulled out a knife and hit me right in the face. I fell down bleeding. I had to go to the hospital. I don't even know who the girl was. That's where I got my scar. He notices the girl crying. And she says to him, I've been looking for you for years. because I ran so nervously that night, I never knew who saved my life. All these years, I wanted to find you just to thank you. Thank you. And by the way, in this case, they actually did get married. Hashem has mysterious ways of making things work. But we need to do our part. And in this scenario, that part was listening to a Rav. Tell me what to do, and the craziest idea actually was what he needed to do. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he works things out. We need to understand that we are not alone. Let him help. Pray. Constantly connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wants this more than us. Because he wants the Jewish people to become more. It's his promise that we'll be fruitful like the stars of the heaven. So when we are doing this, we're actually doing God's work. So let him help. And don't be afraid to pour out your heart. And Bezrat Hashem, with the blessing of the Torah behind me here, I bless all of you. But Bezrat Hashem, all of you that are not married yet, Bezrat Hashem, this year, but if not this year, Bizmano, at its right time, with the right person, you should find your soulmates and be zocheh and merit to have a bayit ne'eman be'Israel. Amen. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.